All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling a problem that, let's be honest, plagues so many online community builders. You've got 100, maybe a few hundred members, but you're just stuck. You're putting in all the work, but the community just won't grow. Well, we're going to break down a playbook that shows you exactly how to cross that chasm and build a truly self-sustaining ecosystem. Does this feel a little too familiar? You've fought your way through that initial phase to get your first 100 people. You have a proof of concept. But now, growth has completely flatlined. You're stuck in what some people call the creator's chasm. And here's the tough part, getting through this requires a totally different set of strategies than the ones that got you here in the first place. And this quote, wow, it really gets right to the heart of it, doesn't it? Is your community actually alive when you're not there? See, the goal isn't just to get bigger, it's to build something that has a life of its own. It's all about making that big shift from a one-person show to a powerful, community-driven engine. So how in the world do we get there? Here's our game plan. We're going to start with escaping the biggest early hurdle. Then we'll move into creating habits, building the right kind of infrastructure, figuring out how to measure what really matters, and then finally, evolving your own role in this whole process. Okay, first step. Let's talk about the single biggest obstacle that kills promising communities before they even have a chance to scale. This is where most creators get stuck, and spoiler alert, it has everything to do with their own role. The founder's bottleneck. You know what this is. It's that point where you are the sun, and every single member is just a planet revolving around you. If you stop posting, if you stop replying and starting conversations, the entire system just grinds to a halt. And that is simply not scalable. And here's the most important and maybe a little counterintuitive piece of the puzzle. You cannot hustle your way out of this. You can't just work harder or post more. The only way forward is to decentralize your own influence and turn your members from just a passive audience into active participants. So how do you actually do that? Well, it's basically a three-step process. First, you've got to identify your power users. Use your data, find your top 20 most engaged members, and give them a special place, like a private council. Second, you have to reward their contributions with a reputation system. Think digital badges or tokens that make their status visible and feel valued. And third, you formalize their role. Appoint moderators, give them clear guidelines, and then, and this is the hard part, you have to trust them to act without you. All right, so once you've started empowering other people, the very next stage is to weave your community into the fabric of your members' daily lives. It's about turning engagement from this random, occasional thing into a reliable, consistent habit. And the best way to do this is with themed programming. A predictable weekly calendar gives members a reason to check in, and more importantly, it gives them something to look forward to. Think of things like #Motivation Monday for sharing wins, #Utility Wednesday for deep dives, and maybe a #Town Hall Friday to sync up. Before you know it, people start building their week around your community's rhythm. Now, this is where you really start to scale your content. Instead of making everything yourself, you create challenges that shift the labor to the community. Things like user-generated campaigns. And for re-engaging people who've gone quiet, you have to find that notification sweet spot. An automated best of the week summary can bring people back into the fold without feeling like you're just spamming them. Okay, so your engagement is humming along, but as you start to cross that 500-member threshold, that everyone in one room vibe, it starts to break down. It just gets way too noisy. You have to evolve your structure from a simple chat room into a full-blown digital city. Yeah, this slide illustrates the shift perfectly. That one noisy room, it has to evolve into these little niche micro-communities, maybe organized by topics like #developers or #investors. Those manual personal welcomes, they become automated onboarding quests, and a simple feed gets supercharged with NPI integrations that pull in relevant info from other tools. It's a total upgrade. But a city needs roads leading to it, right? A totally closed-off community can get stagnant. You need to create some inbound traffic. You can do this by making some high-value content public for search engines, rewarding your members for successful referrals, and participating on larger platforms. Not to spam links, but to genuinely help and then offer your community as the next logical step. With all this growth happening, it's so easy to get obsessed with vanity metrics, like your total member count. But to build something that's truly sustainable, you have to focus on health over hype. You need to be tracking the vital signs of your community. The first vital sign is stickiness. What is that? It's your daily active users divided by your monthly active users. Basically, what percentage of your monthly members are showing up every single day? You're really aiming for over 25%. This number tells you if your community is just a one-time visit or if it's actually become a daily habit. Next up is the user-generated content rate. This measures what percentage of your users are active contributors versus just passive lurkers. A healthy community has more than 15% of its members creating content, not just consuming it. That's a huge deal. And finally, churn. How many members are you losing each month? You need this number to be under 5%. Seriously, it doesn't matter how fast you're growing if you have a leaky bucket. You simply can't get to 2,000 members if you lose them just as fast as you gain them. So here's the full dashboard. Alongside stickiness, UGC rate, and churn, you also want to track response time. How fast does a new post get a comment? Under 4 hours is a fantastic target. When you look at these 4 metrics together, they give you a true, hype-free picture of your community's actual health. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important transformation of all. It's about building a system that works on its own, which requires a pretty profound shift in your role. You have to evolve from being the host of the party to being the governor of the city. Just look at this comparison. Your job is no longer to be the performer on the stage, but the person who builds the stage itself. You move from being the main voice to being the conductor of an entire orchestra. You stop being just a content creator and you become the architect of the whole system. Ultimately, this is the goal. Scaling isn't about working more. It's about building a system of empowerment, habits, and infrastructure that thrives without your constant input. It's a system that works while you sleep. And that is the difference between a simple chat room and a true, lasting community network. So the final question is, are you building a chat room or are you building a network?